Hello everyone, welcome back again to Spiritual Growth Tarot and Astrology, and these are your astrological transits. We're going from January 14th, Sunday, January 14th to Saturday, the 20th, and there's so much cardinal energy, movement-oriented energy this week. I think it'll be really good for getting things done, but then at the end of the week we have the entrance of not only the sun into Aquarius but also Pluto. But before that we're going to have the sun conjunct Pluto. I think it's on Saturday. Yeah, Friday and Saturday. It's moving closer. The sun is moving closer and closer and closer to an exact conjunction with Pluto every day. And then we've got that line up at 29 degrees, that anaretic degree. So anyway, let me stop talking and I'll talk in a different place over my table so you can see the charts. Always helps to see them. So anyway, be right back. Okay, so before I get started on Sunday's chart, which is what you're looking at, I just have to say, because I'm doing this reading on Thursday the 11th, and I wanted to let you or remind you that the Capricorn new moon came in at 3:57 a.m. Pacific this morning. So because new moons are so powerful for setting new intentions, and they can definitely influence our intentions if we work with them and put energy into that whatever it is that we're wanting, all of those projects and those things we've been working on. Or if you're just starting something brand new, the entire month, we can have an entire month of a lot of support in working those things through. So, and then also, I forgot to say on Saturday, the 13th, which you're not at yet, but notice how Mercury here is at 0 degrees Capricorn. That actually happened, actually came in at 6:49 p.m. on Saturday, the day before this chart here. So just a little housekeeping cleanup there. So anyway, the yod, the finger of fate, is still here, but it has switched from, I think it was, I can't remember if it was Mercury or Mars last week. But anyway, the point was to Uranus, and it still is. But now we have Venus. The important thing isn't that now, I think actually it might have been, well, Ceres is still there. Yeah, it's, it's 1 degree out of orb because the inconjuncts are such a tight orb. I guess it fell out on my program here, but I still would include Ceres. So Ceres has to do with sometimes grief and separation, but other times, depending on who you are and how you've been working in your life, are you in integrity in your life? Or are you some new guy we're calling Shitler? No, not the new guy, the old guy that we are newly calling Shitler. Ceres is landing right on his moon and south node at 20 degrees Sag. So I'm expecting grief and separation coming through with his business fraud trial in New York. With the moon ruling the public, seeing it, and then also ruling family money issues. And then his south node there, of course, he was born into money. So there's that. No judgment there, but how he's managed it is, I think, where the grief and separation is going to come in. But for the rest of us, the series is how we nurture ourselves. And in the sign of Sag, we're talking about, it's how we nurture ourselves and others, actually. But in the sign of Sag, we're in that realm of what do we believe, right? What brings more meaning into our lives? So we're exploring meaning, and with the inconjunct down to Uranus, and then back up to the south node, like I was saying last week, we've got this really interesting combination of tapping into the wisdom of the past. Also, maybe some relationships that you were connected to in the past might come back in for either reevaluation or connection. Libra energy is really good for relating and connection and sharing new opportunities. It's also good for self-reflection, and all of this energy points to some new awareness and some breakthrough, some freedom. We have freedom here, and relationship here. We have Venus ruling the South Node in Libra. We have Venus here in Sag, and we've got that double sextile here. And plus we have not only this yod, this finger of fate, we also have, and this is setting up for the entire week, we also have Venus in Ceres with the double trines connecting down to the North Node and Eris. So this brings in a lot of fiery courage to start some new things that you're attracted to with Venus, because Venus is our planet of attraction and what we will engage ourselves in. It's also good for money, it's good for pleasure, it's good for anything having to do with creating beauty in your life. And I know so many of you out there are beauty type beings, and you are so good at that. So I just, hats off to you. And then also, Venus is really good at adapting to all types of new opportunities. With Jupiter also involved, and Jupiter the ruler of Sag, we have extra emphasis on being inspired and getting on our paths, staying on our paths, moving forward on our paths, and basically looking for good opportunities to expand in whatever way we want. So we've got this aspect of the architect twice over going on here that can bring in, you're building something new, or you're building in a stronger way something you've been working on for quite some time. Like the structure, the foundation's been laid, and now the structure can be put on the foundation. And that's especially the case with the moon conjunct Saturn today, too, because with Saturn in Pisces, that's our spiritual foundation, and also foundations that are material, but they were ideas that probably came through your channel, through your connection with your guides and dream time, meditation, all of those good things that those great ideas that come through that you think you didn't think of on your own, and you probably didn't, right? So we still have that going on. And then with Saturn up here sextiling Mars is moving a little out of range there, but it's still in there. So there's all of that energy to keep going, just to keep working it. Especially with Mercury and Mars coming together. There's 7 degrees of separation there, but Mercury's moving really quickly. So Mercury, Mars, it's a lot of energy about speaking up, about staying true to yourself, believing in yourself, talking to others who believe in you and you believe in them. And there's a lot of work, teamwork that can be done in order to create some, or to continue working out the nuts and bolts and continue working on all of your creative projects. And you can also see how the sun is moving 1 degree closer every day to Pluto, right? So by the end of the week, we do have that sun conjunct Pluto. And we're also going to go through, you can kind of see over here the charts that are going to pop up next when I get there. Saturday, we're going to have the sun move into Aquarius, and Pluto moves into Aquarius. Now, it won't be to stay, but, that won't happen until November 19th this year for Pluto to stay in Aquarius. But it's going to be, we're going to feel a little lighter probably. So the yod is hanging in there for some time. The sun is squaring the south node today. So there's some light shining, illuminating power and control issues and challenges that you've had in the past with relationships. But healing, I think, is up there on the on the forefront. And I say that especially because not only is the sun squaring the south node, it's also squaring the north node. Because if something happens at one end of the nodal axis, it happens at the other. So the sun is in a T-square to the node. So remember, the nodes started in Aries and Libra July 17th. And we're going to have that all the way through to January 11th of next year. So the primary focus of this nodal axis is to figure out what you want to take action on. Pick your battles and figure out what's worth fighting for. That's one aspect of it. Justice and equality, definitely. Mars rules this end, Venus rules this end, so it's issues with the male and female roles in society. And most of all, what needs balancing in your life, right? And know that that is one of those interesting things that happens, is if you've been really out of balance in one area. Like, let's say you just had a baby, or you had a baby a year ago or so, and you've been home with the baby, or maybe 3 years or 5 years you devoted, to be with the little one before you went back to work. So you're very, very focused. Well, now that you decide, maybe your little one's in preschool or kindergarten, and now you're deciding to go back to work. This is just an example. And it could apply to, grandparenting as well, too. Maybe you helped with the little one, and now they're going to school, So what happens is you're so focused on one area, then you open up to this other area, and you're having to balance out the two, right? And that can be super challenging. So this could be on the table for, a lot of people, especially when it comes to relationships, because Libra rules relationships, Aries rules ourself in relationship, because most of us don't operate in a vacuum. We're always in relationship with life. So anyway, that's, just kind of in the backdrop there for quite some time. So trust your instincts. Take advantage of all the courage, the courageous energy that there is with the Aries and Sag, fiery, movement-oriented energy. Now, Aries is cardinal, so is Capricorn. So we have so much cardinal energy this week that, it's good on one level because there's a lot of earthy energy between Capricorn and Taurus. But we also have the mutable energy of all this Pisces, Moon, Saturn, and Neptune in Pisces, plus the Sag energy up here is mutable. So there's adaptation, or adaptation is the way to say it. So we're adapting and adjusting our focus and our movement and our energy and our commitment in ways that are grounding. We're creating things that are, on Earth here with all of this energy. It's not just thinking about it, we're actually doing it. I think there's more doing it. There's more of the doing energy. So the Pisces energy is good for being, but you still have to focus in on what you want is the thing. So Pisces energy is so just amazingly perfect for art and music and devoting yourself to something, and being in the big picture, and being very spiritually oriented and feeling, empathic, feeling a lot of empathy for what's going on in the world and for others. It's Piscean energy is very sensitive as well. So because of, that stellium there in Pisces, especially with the moon over the next couple days, we're in this kind of dreamy state when it comes to, wow, where do I where do I really put my energy? What is the best way to use this energy now, I guess is what I would ask myself. So Piscean energy can be very healing. It's all inclusive, it flows, and it brings through opportunities to connect with your kindred spirits. Those of like-minded, those of you who think alike and want the same things and are willing to work that way. So it's really good for collaborations and coming together with those that you care about. And because Saturn has now made it to 4 degrees. Now we're coming into a really tight orb with a sextile to Jupiter. And remember, like I think I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, just a reminder that Jupiter and Saturn are the builders of the zodiac. So Jupiter moves along quite a bit faster. Only takes, usually gets through one sign in a year, and it only takes 12 years to get all the way around the zodiac, where Saturn is 28 to 29 degrees, or I'm sorry, 28 to 29 years to get around, all the way around. So bottom line is Jupiter moves along quite a bit faster, opens things up. It helps you expand and think in bigger terms. It helps us kind of get out of our box. Now, when it comes to Taurian energy, Taurus is really concerned with being connected to what matters to you in a way that helps your abundance, helps you to think about the future in terms of self-preservation and what keeps you safe and secure, what things that are worth owning and what things are not, stuff like that. Sometimes, well, definitely, I don't know that more toys is always helpful. Yeah, So thinking long term is the Saturn option here. And then also with the connection with both of these planets here, what we're dealing with is thinking way outside the box in terms of how much work will I have to do? How much money will I have to spend? Is it what I really want? Because the opportunities will come in. Now, but you have to always think before you get involved in some big project or you decide to go in a certain direction. You have to think about, is this something I would do for free? Do I love this so much that I would do it for free if I could? Like if you were, just think of yourself as I don't know, philanthropist or someone that doesn't need to earn money, but you just want to give back. Is this this thing that you're considering, that you might be opening to, especially today with the moon in Pisces, is this opportunity that's come in from maybe a friendship or a connection from the past or guidance, literal guidance that came through in dream time? Definitely could have happened. Or an idea that popped in your head while you were just doing the dishes or vacuuming or doing laundry, those things that you can kind of go on autopilot or maybe you're driving, right? I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me. And if you connect with it and go, oh yeah, if you can feel, your life force, if you can feel more empowerment or just your heart opening, your heart opening is really important. So the deal is there, if that's what you're feeling, then go for it. But if you're not and you're thinking, oh, it's just a good way to make some money, then that's still a good, opportunity as well. But think in terms of, well, maybe at that juncture you would get it started, but maybe at a certain juncture you would want to get somebody else to buy the business from you, or you would want help because you couldn't do the whole thing alone, right? And that's the thing that happens with a lot of businesses, especially if it's a product or a major service. A lot of times you're going to need support in order to grow, in order to expand the operation. So yeah. Okay, so I think that's all I have to say with that aspect there. Now, this could also be really good for healing anything that is a body issue, because Jupiter in Taurus, Taurus rules the body, especially Jupiter especially rules the neck and the throat and the jaw. And the jawbone is connected to the hips. The hips are ruled by Sag energy. So there's that connection there too. So if you've been having trouble grounding, that may shift. If you've been having trouble focusing in your meditations, that may shift as well because of all this earth energy along with the water, right? They move together really well. And then the courage to go for it is here with all of the Aries and the Sag energy. The Sag energy will help you believe in yourself, will help you to speak up, will help you to have faith in yourself, bottom line. And well, on another level too, politically, this is why we're seeing so much emphasis, which, well, we knew it. We've been hearing it for so long, and we've been appalled for years. But this is the religious dogma, the separation of church and state that should be adhered to in our Constitution, excuse me, in the USA. And so, Eris is here holding space at that 24 degrees of Aries. Venus in Ceres moving forward will exactly trine this conjunction here. Well, the North Node is finally getting out of orb of Eris, but Eris is just going to sit there and go, no, we know what is the right way to go, what is the just way, what is fair. Eris is the feminine counterpart, or you could say sister of Mars and Pluto. Pluto takes 243 to 248 years to get around the zodiac. Eris takes 558. So she's stronger and she's not going to give up. And I would venture to guess that everybody on the planet now, and many who have left recently, were born with Eris at some degree of Aries. I know for me it was 9 degrees. I'm pushing 70, so you can kind of do the math or look at your natal chart and see where it was then. So we've been in this energy our entire life. Our entire life we've been fighting for equality. And it's not just feminine equality, it's equality on so many different levels. So there's that. My goodness. So again, back to, what needs balancing. And justice, fairness, and equality. So much here in that nodal axis. So let's see. And, just to, again, and it's such an obvious thing, but I don't know that I've ever said it out loud. I probably have. And it's probably been here. But, during these readings, doing these astrological readings. But I just feel like it's so important that we are living through some time in history that is, I'm sure we've gone through it in other lifetimes, but for things to be the way they are now feels to me like it's very prescient, like it's not something that we've been through before. It feels, especially in the USA, well, but in other countries too, that no matter what country it is, there are so many women fighting for equality, and there are so many other women backing them up, and a lot of evolved men backing them up. And the vulnerable, fighting for the vulnerable, fighting for, supporting anyone who can't take care of themselves for the time being, because either they have to grow up because they're young, or they're elderly and they're needing support in living comfortably in their final years, or these are all Piscean, themes, or someone who's trying to legally immigrate to a better country or to a country that's safer for them, right? No matter where it is. So, yeah. Let me see, anything else? Well, there's quite a bit here. Venus in Ceres, you can see her 19 and 20 degrees Sag, and you can see the square coming toward, the exact square coming towards Neptune. Now, we had Mercury squaring Neptune last week, and boy, there's just so much with the delusion and the lies and just the crazy stuff. That's backed off a little. Mercury and Mars together in Capricorn are really, really there just saying just the facts. We just want the facts. We're sick of the bullshit. We're sick of hearing the same old thing. We're sick of seeing this old white dude show up with a bunch of orange makeup on and sit and just scowl, right? I mean, we're sick of it. I mean, I would think I would think even if you're a Trump supporter, you'd be sick of that ugly makeup. Like, what's with the makeup, man? What's with the makeup? What is that all about? If you just simply go there and think about it, like, what is with the hair and the makeup on this guy? He thinks it's just Hollywood, I suppose. That this running for president is just Hollywood. Well, of course, it's his way to stay out of prison. That's what he's trying to do. And just trying to run out the clock. But what I have to say about all of that, and the only reason I'm speaking up this way, is to say that the astrological transits do not support people like him anymore. The astrological transits also support anyone in that cult-like mindset. There's support there for them to heal and go, hey, wait a minute, there's something's off here. There's the support for waking up on the most physical levels of all the senses. When it comes to Taurian energy, we're talking physical senses, living in the body. Taurus also rules the skin. So, the hair going up in the back of your neck when somebody's not safe to be near, or you're getting a premonition of what could happen in the future. Like, what would make the hair go up on the back of your neck if, it's like the way a dog or a wolf, or it's like, roar. Things like that. That's Taurus. Taurus, because it rules the neck and the throat, we're also talking about and Aries is in there as well, too. And we've got tons of energy there, especially with Chiron in Aries. The olfactory gland, your sense of smell. So there's healing there. And for people who went through COVID and going through long COVID, there may be some healing. Your sense of smell may return with these transits. So yeah. And you can see that the only planet, we don't count the nodes in astrology when it goes to, for retrogradation, but Uranus is the only planet that's retrograde, and it's going to go direct next week, I think. Yeah, the 26th. Yeah. And then we will live through a period of time, and I have some information about that I'll share with you next week. But we're going to go through a period of time, not for too long, I think 9 weeks or so, where we don't have any planets retrograde. So this is the lead up. And I actually I don't mind Uranus retrograde because it helps the planet to stay wherever it needs to stay. I mean, remember, this is all of the transits, the astrological transits are a construct of the cosmic intelligence of the universe. So it's not like it's doing something to us. It's more that it's holding space for us in order to grow in very specific ways. And this is, with Uranus and Taurus, waking up to your voice, waking up to speaking up, waking up to using your all of the senses in your body in ways to guide you, to help you wake up. Because Uranus is all about the liberation of your soul, and it does rule a lot of what rules the nervous system, and it rules a lot of the parasympathetic system, that part of all those parts of our body that we don't have to think of, like if I want to do something, I have to use certain muscles, and I don't know that I even really think about it. I just kind of instinctually go. That would be more Aries and Mars energy. But with Uranus, you don't have to focus on how your nerves work. I mean, you can if you need to for some reason or another. There's a lot of power in opening up to those systems. But it's not like, Saturn ruling the bones and the muscles and the even the fascia and the structured systems of our body. So that's neither here nor there, but just to let you know. So I think I'm done with this. Yeah, because if I just go ahead and keep going, we're going to see the same thing. So for Monday, notice the sun has moved closer to Pluto. Now the moon is closer to Neptune. So, but we're still in this, now we have a Venus squaring the moon. We have actually 4 little tension fields going on here to Neptune and the moon. Monday might be one of those days where there's a lot coming out on the news that is just weird. And you're like, what are these people saying? And what are they thinking? And why would they say those things? Also, you may be more sensitive on Monday with the moon approaching Neptune that closely. And I did leave the chart for 4 a.m. Because that might help people on the East Coast more, where it would be 7 a.m. So first thing in the morning. Well, what I can say is or the most important thing I should say, Sunday night, well, I do this every night that I remember. Sometimes I forget, but I always ask my guides to work on my body and heal whatever might need to be corrected or worked with or whatever as I'm going to sleep. But this is also really good energy from Sunday night on, even Saturday night. Yeah. Working with that new moon in Capricorn, and then to go through the phases with the moon in Aquarius. There's all that opening up, and then there's Dreamtime guidance, I think, that'll probably come through from today all the way through, to Monday. And Monday morning, you may have some wowzers of a dream that you just wake up and go, oh, okay. But you can, and here's my point, set the intention to know whatever you need to know or whatever you would like to know in Dreamtime. And, keep a dream journal next to your bed, because you're going to want to write things down. And from there, life can be a lot easier. It can be a lot easier if you open up to your guides and your guardian angels. Just, make sure you're always aligned with myself. I like to always set the default to God and Christ. But like I say, probably every week, I do not have any affiliation with any religion. Okay? And if you can't think your way out of that one, then you're pretty much just stuck in duality. Like if you think if I say Christ, it's aligned with some religion, no, it's not. Pretty sure he was a Jew, and I'm pretty sure the Jewish religion wasn't, never mind, I'm not going there. Okay. let's stay out of duality here and just focus on the astrology. So Saturn is still sextiling Jupiter. Uranus is still at the point of the nice yod finger of fate, opening to whatever it is you're trying to open and free yourself from. Maybe there's relationship issues you're working to free yourself from. That's still in effect today. Ceres is working its way Venus is as well, to the beautiful trine over to Eris and the North Node. So we still have the aspect of the architect going on here, a trine and a sextile together. We have a double sextile here, and I think triple. Hold on, let's look to Chiron. Yeah, let's look at the grid. Oops, grid for a second. Chiron here. Yeah, trine Venus. Here's all the trines here. Yeah, so Eris, North Node, Chiron, Mars to Jupiter. That's where the other one's coming in there. Okay. It's hard to see with all it. Well, I guess I could have done it this way too. Yeah, okay. So Mars down here to Jupiter. There's that trine. Now that's pretty strong. But there's the Uranus trine to the Sun as well. I think I missed that yesterday. Okay, so we have to talk about that. The Sun trining Uranus brings, it's like, let's shine a light on something that helps us to be more free. Or maybe something's coming out in the news and we're like, oh, I didn't see it from that angle before. Or, yeah, I knew that was coming in. That feels good to see that. Right? You know what I'm talking about. Because meanwhile, the Sun, like I'm saying, is just cooking 1 degree closer and closer to Pluto. Pluto in Capricorn is at this 29 degrees. These are like the last gasps of corruption. This is, people like Rudy Giuliani and Trump and all the other ones just, doubling down on their corruption, thinking that no matter what, because, they have the money for the, well, Rudy doesn't anymore, but, and I doubt Trump's attorneys are going to get paid, but they think that they have all the money to, work it through the legal system, and they certainly know how to do it. Reminds me of that old movie. Oh my goodness, what was the name of it? It was Al Pacino. The Devil's Advocate. Ugh, remember that? Yeah. So, yeah, working it through the legal system. Yeah, darkness can definitely, and maybe that's our marker here with this South Node in Libra, the legal system. Yeah. So, okay. So all of these trines, and especially the Sun trine to Uranus, covered that. Mars to, let's see, from 8 degrees to 15. Yeah. So it's going to be all week then. That would be the case there. And also Mercury and Mars, well, right now it's still Mars, but Mercury's, actually, there should be 2 sextiles here because Mercury is coming into the sextile. Mars it's a separating sextile, but anyway, so this energy here with Mercury and Mars sextiling Saturn is an opportunity for those who've been stuck in their cult-like behavior to wake up to reality. Saturn is reality. Saturn rules government. Saturn is structure and form in life. And with Pisces energy on the downside, this could be used, and then I'm speaking also to the Moon and Neptune. We'll tidy up a little bit there too. It could be used in distortion. The Piscean energy can be used in distortion. It's the corruption in government and people who gaslight. Piscean energy can be vulnerable minds. So these can be, like cultish type of vacuums where people feel victimized, where they think, it's like these white people, especially white men who've had privilege that they were born into, but they're gonna gaslight any person of color as if their jobs are at stake. It's like, no. I mean, I don't know that we even have, do we even have, that equal opportunity, whatever, that was in, I remember it was in place for, like in, I think the 80s no, not even that early. I just remember when it ended in 2000, which did knock a lot of white guys out of the position to get into like firefighters. That happened to my son. He didn't get hired on into LA City until he was 30 because of that equal opportunity law that was in place. But yeah, I think it held back a lot of police, anybody getting hired into a government position. So that, I mean, that was a real thing in effect. But we don't have that anymore. And meanwhile, he was still able to get good work. It just wasn't the work that he wanted. So I think it's the best way to use this Pisces energy is to be grateful for what we do have and to open up to more. Pisces, at this most simplest energy and consciousness, is pure potential, all possibilities. And with Saturn, we are testing reality. Like, do we really believe in that? Or are we just going to say we're victims? Because if we say we're victims, then we're not in control and we're giving our power away to someone else, and other, some other construct, some other reality that isn't true, actually. So Saturn and Pisces, we are reality testing against fascism and autocratic cult leaders who are gaslighting the public. And with Neptune here, we're talking mass consciousness. So the moon's coming in, illuminating. I think we're going to see a lot of crazy stuff on Monday. And then especially with the squares over here to Venus and Ceres. This doesn't look good at all for Trump and his money. This doesn't look, Venus, of course, on his south node and moon will probably be okay. But sometimes, that's probably one of the better factors for him. But with Ceres there, this planet, dwarf planet of grief and separation, I think it's going to separate him from some of his money. But he'll still have his, he'll still have enough of his people he can grift off of. Because he's going to say, I'm the victim, right? So he's really disempowering himself. But there you go. That's it. So we know the truth. We don't have to get involved in that, but I think these are some of the things we're going to be witnessing. Let's see. The moon is still squaring the nodes, and both sides in that T-square, and the moon, what am I saying, the moon? The sun is still up at in this T-square position to the nodes. So shining the light again on corruption, but also for us who have been working in our integrity, who've been working with the positive energy of Pluto and Capricorn. Just remember, Pluto is power, but it's also the transformation of the soul. So in Capricorn, we add that energy in, and that's our self-responsibility, to know that we create our own reality and that we don't need to get into that ridiculous, status quo and narcissistic mentality of going into reaction because we're not respected or we're being overlooked. Oh, how about you respect yourself? How about you don't overlook your own gifts? How about you get into your self-responsibility? And I'm saying this to, the cultish people here, and they're not watching anyway, so I don't know who I'm talking to. But anyway, the positive side, let's just get back to the positive side of Capricorn energy, which is taking self-responsibility and working hard. And we have our duty to our work and ourself, whether or not it brings in a lot of money. It's just, if it's what you do, it's what you do. Capricorn energy is cardinal, so it moves. It moves on the earth because it's an earthly sign, right? It creates things that are stable. The Challenger, or challenging energy with the Capricorn energy is that you could sometimes get stuck you can be like a little prisoner of your own creations, and you have to. That's what Aquarian energy is so good for, and the Piscean energy, and the Sag energy. It can help us, and Uranus and Taurus can help us to open up our eyes, open up possibilities, get out of that box, right? And especially to rebel, because we've got rebellion here. We can rebel against people who are trying to control us, and that's part of this square over here to the relationship area. And then the Aries energy over here can help us go the other way, because now we see the light. So if you have somebody in your life who's controlling, this is not going to be a good week for them. They are not going to like the reactions. And trust your healthy anger. Trust your, don't hurt anybody, and maybe you need to bitch them out if they're going to be really nasty, but whatever. Set a healthy boundary, because we have healthy boundaries here, we have healthy boundaries here, healthy boundaries here. And yeah, don't allow yourself to be victimized, but also if you're the one that's kind of controlling, you might want to back off this week. You want to be careful. Sometimes it's better to let people learn their lessons, because when we experience something, that's how we heal. Healing comes through experiencing something that we don't like as much as what we do like. And we have to go through the challenges of what we don't like in order to open up to more or something different. Now, if we've been getting pretty much what we do like, and we're working hard working on that, we're in that tension field all week. It's a week of hard work, but we don't mind that. If you don't mind Capricorn hard work, you don't mind this transit going on, right? It will probably be a very empowering week for you. Yeah. I'm not seeing a lot of frustrating energy. I'm just seeing a lot of, for this week, seeing primarily truth coming out, some people's belief systems getting the test, some people stubbornly holding on to the past and holding on to those old relationships, but things are dissolving. Neptunian energy dissolves. In Pisces, what we're dissolving is the victimization, feeling like a victim, victimhood, being scattered energy that's all over the place, and that energy, that consciousness that won't take self-responsibility, that's dissolving. Neptune's going to stay here in Pisces until January 26th, 2026. So we still have quite some time. So, okay, let's go ahead and go to Tuesday. So Tuesday the 16th, you can see the moon's now in Aries. Happened way earlier in the morning. And it's at 4 degrees here, so it's squaring Mercury. So moon square Mercury. There could be a morning of picking your battles. It could be a morning of waking up with lots of energy, and you just get up and go, and then you're like, oh, crap, I forgot to meditate. Because there's so much to get done with this Mercury square, is what I'm feeling like. And then Mercury and Mars are still closer to, now they're at 6 degrees apart, so they're really getting close together. So there's that energy to get it done, and all the messages and the communication. Remember, Mercury's our messenger. Mercury helps us to negotiate. Mercury helps us to link patterns together. Mercury helps us to analyze, and it's rational. And in Capricorn with Mars, it's all about what are the facts? How do we do this right? How do we get it done? It also can connect with, because Mercury rules our siblings. Some of us might connect with our siblings more this week. And there might be just that instinctual, like, where suddenly you get a call from your sister or your brother, or, yeah. And it starts the day off. There's that possibility for someone out there, or lots of someones. Now, with the moon, we do have a little semi-square here connected to Uranus. So it's that energy of needing to get something done in order to feel free. Okay. Now, you can see the yacht is gone, but we still have Uranus with this quincunx to the south node. So we're still working out something and needing to make an adjustment to either something that brings in more fairness or equality into your life, or something to do with a relationship issue. Let's see, what else with the moon for today? Anything else? Let's see. Everything's the same. Just notice, the sun is closer to Pluto, so things are really heating up. Everything I've stated before is of stronger, has a stronger meaning today. And Saturn with the sextile, two sextiles, one to the other builder, Jupiter, and then the other sextile over to Mercury, which is getting tighter to be exact, at 2 degrees from 2 to 4. So with Saturn up here at the apex, it is, again, all about putting these good ideas into action and just gathering the facts and figuring out, like, what does really work? How do we really build, and how do we strengthen this foundation that we've been building? So, okay, let's go ahead and go to Wednesday. So with Wednesday, the moon's still in Aries, but it has gone over Chiron. So there may have been, between Tuesday and Wednesday, some new illumination. The moon will help us connect and respond and kind of, like, digest whatever's been going on, and does really helps our intuition and our nurturing ability. It's most on the most simple level, is just geared to our emotional response and our eating habits and our daily rituals, right? It connects with the public mood. It has everything to do with our moms, if we still have them on the planet. And even if they're off the planet, it's our connection. And the home. Okay, so combining all of that with Chiron, crossing over Chiron, what we've probably been going through is either getting more clear on anyone out there that has Chiron in Aries especially, or a lot of strong Aries energy. There may have been, but primarily Chiron in Aries, there may have been some more insight into your deepest wounding, which might make you feel like you don't matter, which may bring up abandonment issues, which might make you feel impulsive, and wanting to move forward, but feeling like, oh, darn, I'm not first, and maybe feeling left out. So if you can let go of that wounding and don't abandon yourself, don't leave yourself out, you don't have to impulsively go towards someone else in order to heal it. You have to bring it back in, right? Instinctually come back inside. And then from there, you're using the Aries energy in the most positive way. And at 18 degrees, we're in that second decan of consciousness, where we're integrating some deeper life lesson, which has to do with your positive self-assertion and your own unique individuality. And that's what it's really all about. And that's what heals that deeper wounding and brings through your gifts. And your gifts, if you have Chiron in Aries, your gifts are your presence. Your presence, just you showing up, being you in the moment. Okay? But also that ability to move forward on your path in the right direction, and we don't have it conjunct, well, it's conjunct the North Node, so that's very directional. We don't have an exact trine anymore to Ceres and Venus, but notice how Venus has crossed over the other side, and these two together does bring more of a, oomph, that fiery energy. And even though it's not conjunct the moon yet, the moon's going to get there, right? Because the moon moves pretty quickly. I think 1 degree. I think it's 1 degree every 2. Oh, I can't remember when it comes to the hours. Yeah, I can't remember how many hours it takes. I'd have to look that up again. It's not sticking in my head. I just know that the moon changes signs every 28 to 29 days. But, well, here, let's do it this way. Hours, let's see how many hours it takes. Okay, 18. Okay, so by 7 a.m., the moon's on the other side of the North Node, okay? And so picking up lots of steam and connected to courageous Eris. And then, keep going. How long does it take? Look how fast Venus is moving too. 21, 24, 20, come on, 22. Okay, so now we have an exact trine to Ceres. So there's more nurturing that deeper presence and initiating new things, and there's the courage, like picking up some courage with vibing with all this directional energy, and the courageous consciousness of Eris there. Yeah, so by 11 a.m. by noontime, it should be it's a morning for getting things done. So just be careful about getting in any fights. Be careful about judging yourself harshly. Be careful about abandoning yourself, and most of all, be very, very careful about impulsiveness. Like, get more grounded. Be as grounded as you possibly can while you're moving around. Like this is one of those mornings where you could smack your funny bone, your elbow, on a door jamb, or be looking at your phone walking around and suddenly you run into a wall, or you trip over your own feet, or just things that wouldn't happen if you could be more grounded and focused inward. Okay, that's the challenge with Aries energy, is it wants to go forward, right? So if you can stay more inward today, healing can definitely happen. So, okay, and you can see Jupiter's moved ahead by 1 degree. Let's go ahead. Well, let's see. Yeah, same thing's going on there. It's just that things are tightening up. Everything I talked about before with Ceres and Venus squaring Neptune. Now, on one level, I'll talk about this real quick. Well, wait. Let's do it for tomorrow, for Thursday. Venus at 24, Neptune at 25. Venus is our connection to personal love for each other and personal pleasure, the pleasure we feel with each other. It's connected to the arts. It's connected to intimacy. It's connected to harmony. Basically, everything that makes us happy. It's connected to relationships. But square Neptune, there's a little bit of a tension field, because you're in that place of trying to figure out if do I really believe in this relationship I'm in? What's going on? I need to speak up. We need to, nurture each other in ways that are a little more than we've had in the past. There's more energy. When we've got Sag energy going on, there's a little wanting more, because it's ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is wanting to expand. So expanding relationship, it's on the table there. On top of, with the square over to Neptune, it's like there might be too much questioning. Is this a spiritual relationship? Well, if the person's breathing, it's spiritual, okay? So don't be in judgment around a person's belief system and their spirituality, and how about we enjoy them for who they are and the fact that they're a human being breathing, right? let's be careful about our judgments, is what I have to say there. So, okay, then the moon is in Taurus. Now that's grounding, that's helpful. And it is in a trine. It's connected to Jupiter, so it's moving, hour by hour closer to Moon. Jupiter is actually really beautiful this would be an excellent day if you're able to get a massage or any kind of body work or chiropractic adjustment. The energy is really good for that. And I guess that would include acupuncture. I don't find acupuncture relaxing at all. I don't like anything poking on me, but other people do, and I've heard really good things about it. I think I've had it done twice in my life, and I didn't enjoy it. But I liked the doctor, so that was that. I was just trying it out. But anyway, a lot of people do it all the time, and I've heard it's really good for PMS and menopause, and helps get the meridians flowing. Really good for people going through hot flashes. So, yeah. Okay, what else? Let's see. Moon, Jupiter. Again, remember the moon is responding to something. Jupiter wants to expand. In Taurus, we're talking money. We're talking all the things ruled by Venus, and we're trying to get more, right? So we're thinking in terms of, this could be like home loans. This could be shopping for a home loan. This could be shopping for refinancing. The moon and Jupiter is shopping energy, right? It just is. Because it helps us to explore. Jupiter energy helps us to figure out, we're exploring what we can invest in, and especially our beliefs. Do we believe in this? Is it a good thing? It's also travel. There's travel energy with the Sag and the Jupiter trine here. Yeah, this might not be such a bad week after all, even though, Boeing went through its thing and still will. They're guilty as what for what they've done. So, or actually what they didn't do. Talk about not taking self-responsibility there, right? Yeah. I've seen the FAA in trouble for years, so none of that surprises me. And again, the FAA falls under the, Saturnian, structure there. So 4, 6, I was looking at the degrees here. Yeah, the Jupiter. So with every step of the way, every degree that the moon crosses over Jupiter, we're going to have the moon. It's not, well, it's close enough. The moon sextiling Saturn. Okay, so again, trying to have that structure, trying to be, with Saturn, trying to be patient while you're opening and you can see the bigger picture, trying to be, determined. Saturn energy is all about strategy that we can align with. And then from there, we're disciplined, and there the responsibility, comes through. And it's usually patient. But it can sometimes be just cold and cut off and, just connected with how do I make this money? And if it's geared towards victimizing people, well, all of this is Saturn and Neptune energy and Pisces. This is the grifting energy. This is what Trump is connected to when he's grifting. It's an opportunity, so he's going to take it because that's the way his brain works. It's just transactional. So, and he's not alone in that. He's not the only one. There are so many out there. We can't blame him for everything or actually anything other than the fact that he's here to show us the holes in our governmental structure, the holes in our Constitution. So, we need to not be victimized. We can see the bigger picture, and we need to keep on with our, government, with our letters and our demands to create some new amendments and some new blocks on presidential powers and shore up those holes in the Constitution. And I really do believe that those things will come through, especially as Neptune works its way into Aries. And even before that, I know there is a Presidential Powers Act. I just don't think it's gone all the way through. I do know that there are things that are waiting to get through when we have a democratically held House along with the Senate. So it's just a matter of time. Okay, but for Thursday, just know that the moon connected to Jupiter, be careful with shopping, but you could get some good deals, okay? Shop smart. On the fundamental level, shop smart. And get the facts. We're still in that first decan with Mercury and Mars, first decan of Capricorn, which is, still forming something. We're still developing plans. So we can take our time. And Mercury is still not out of the shadow yet. It won't be until the 20th. So it's still a little, we don't need to rush, okay? The sun is closer and closer to Pluto. We don't have the square to the south node anymore, but we do have just a waning square to Eris, which isn't too bad. But the moon is involved in this square to Pluto, and the sun will be soon. Okay, so the moon square Pluto, this is a tension field with issues with power, and it has to do with power over money and control. Okay, all right, Friday. So Friday, the sun is 1 degree closer. We definitely have sun conjunct Pluto. No aspects to Pluto, though. No aspects to, no, wait. It's such a waning square there. I'm not even going to talk about it. It's 4 degrees away. It's not even worth it. Let's see. There is definitely the square coming off of Mars to Chiron, and that's an approaching square. The approaching energy is always stronger. So now there's a lot of, with Mars and Capricorn, a lot of emphasis on self-respect. And if there's somebody who is in your life that has been making you feel like you don't matter to them and has been taking you for granted, there's going to be trouble. Okay? You're going to say, I don't want to work for you anymore, or I don't want to do that for you anymore. How about you do it yourself? Or how about it's your turn to do the laundry? Or how about I'm not doing your laundry anymore? Or whatever. You know what? I mean, these are just simple examples, but something along those lines. Let's see. What else? The moon. Oh, yeah. The moon is conjunct and moving closer and closer every hour to Uranus. So whatever wanting to expand was coming through yesterday, today, by Friday 4 a.m., this morning we're probably waking up with some solid guidance that came through in dream time or comes through in meditation, or you just wake up knowing. Taurus is often very connected to that deep inner knowing with the body, solar plexus knowing, connected to the third chakra, but also the executive center in the back of your neck, right? Back of your fifth chakra. So there could be some new guidance that comes through in meditation that helps you to figure out exactly whatever it is you've been wondering about and wanting to change, if there's change that needs to happen, or something that's maybe not even change, but I say change when I see Uranus, but when I see Capricorn and Taurus, I don't see change because Taurus doesn't like change, unless it's something that brings in more abundance. And that's very possible here with the moon trining Mars, because there's that directional force to go in whatever direction brings in more money. And it may or may not include a relationship. It could be some breakthrough energy that gets you out of a relationship, business partnership, or bank relationship, because now you got a new loan, maybe. Or you paid off the damn loan. You didn't need any of that. So, okay. Yeah, I think that's good there. Boy, Venus is certainly cooking along quickly, isn't it? Before we know it, Venus will be in Capricorn. Let's see. Yeah, good enough there. Okay, let's go to Saturday, but this one here first. Now, Saturday, the sun, it's crossed over Pluto. It's in Uranus, okay? So with the sun moving into Uranus, what am I saying? Aquarius. Uranus rules Aquarius. So with the sun in Aquarius, now we are networking. We are collecting things. We are inventing new opportunities, and we are moving one step closer to self-individualization, to breaking away from the status quo, which would be Capricorn. And look how Pluto's at 2959, right? The next degree is 0. And of course, that will be later on today when Pluto is in Aquarius. But I'll talk more about that when I get to that chart. Right now, let's just focus on the sun. So with Aquarian energy, like I was saying, it's breaking free. It has to do with networking and goals and, the things that you're wanting to, the things that you've already been working on. Now there's more of a support network. And maybe there's more of the ability to, or the more want to work with a group, but it's very goal oriented. So is Capricorn, though. But now with the sun in Aquarius, we can open up to all of that, but then we also have to be careful to not detach from our hearts. Remember, Aquarius is the opposite of Leo. And when I look at one sun, I'm always kind of thinking about the other. So we don't want to be detached. We don't want to, we always want to stay with our love. I mean, that's usually the best way to go. And a lot of times, especially with all the Sag energy, it's our love for the truth. Now, when it comes to the challenges with Aquarius, like I said, detaching from the heart is an issue. Things that just don't come together, things that negate opportunity, because some people will do this with Aquarian energy. They will withdraw. They will act like you're not good enough. They will always just be trying to teach you something because they're up there higher than, right? So there's people with superiority complexes. We might see that with this combination connection with Pluto there. And especially with the moon, there's double trine to the moon this morning. So this exact transit happens at 6:08 a.m. on Saturday, the 20th. And Mercury's now Mercury's not out of the shadow yet. It has to get to 8 degrees. It will be tomorrow. So our thinking, and the reason I focus on Mercury there is because Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo, but the moon now at 0 degrees of Gemini, we as the mood of the public, we're going to be wanting to connect more. We're thinking more. We're gathering information. We are, we're talking about things. We're trying to connect the dots. We're trying to, it's transactional energy when it comes to, it's good for business. Mercury and Gemini are both good for business transactions. But if you can always stay connected with your heart, that's going to be the key there. And there's a nice easy flow with gathering information and talking things through. So let's see what else with this chart. We've got the square. You can see the sun there with the square to Eris, and also to Jupiter. Is that right? Hold on. No. Yeah, just to Jupiter. Yeah, it is to Eris too. I was right. Okay. Just wanted to double check there. I don't want to say the wrong thing. So right here, if you can focus in on these two red lines from the sun to Jupiter and Eris. So the sun shining a light on some new ways we can network, but then there's the challenge of, hold on, don't jump on too fast, because you want to make sure that it's a trustworthy either person, business, or organization, or whatever it is. And you might even want to check things out. Like if you're thinking of going into business with someone, definitely you'd want to know who the person really is. If you're thinking about getting a loan or getting a credit card even from a certain company, I'd always check them out. Like, boy, I remember those days of canceling. I think I had 3 or 4 credit cards and I canceled all but one just because I figured out that they voted for Trump. That was way back when. But things like that, like, because your money, where you spend your money, that's your power. It's like voting every day with your dollar. So things like that are on the table today with this information here, with this moon in Gemini, and with the sun squaring Jupiter. Again, expansion of your money and your power, with Pluto connected in that square over to Eris. So let's see, anything else? There will be some people who stubbornly hold on to old relationships because they're afraid to make a decision. They'll be afraid to dissolve an old relationship, or maybe they can't yet. Maybe it's someone trying to get out of an abusive relationship, and you have to plan that. That's not something you can just do overnight, especially if there's children involved. Or it's more like sneak out in the middle of the night, right? Yeah, and with Saturn, we don't have the trine anymore up to Mercury or even Mars, but we have it over to Jupiter still. So Jupiter, or Saturn, the slower moving planet, is holding space for creating that spiritual foundation. And if you do that, Jupiter is there to help you expand in ways you probably couldn't even imagine. So that's wonderful. I love this sextile being here for quite some time. Let's see. Yeah, Uranus is still holding space there for the adjustments in relationship. And also with Libra, it's not only relationships, it's the bridge to harmony. Libra is diplomatic and easygoing, and it's really that urge for unity because it's ruled by Venus. So, and it's cardinal energy, but it's air energy, so it helps us to think in new ways. So this is not a bad adjustment to be making, because with the connection to Uranus, it's about freedom, and could be financial freedom with Uranus in Taurus. So, okay, so now let's go ahead and go to the last chart. So now we have Pluto in Aquarius, and it happens at 4:57 p.m. Saturday night. Okay, so, and it's still, we've got the trine to the moon, but it's a double trine. So there's that nice flow. So it's everything that I was speaking to about the sun in Aquarius, but now we bring in the power of Pluto. So Pluto in Aquarius should really help us open up with, it could be very helpful with AI. It could be very helpful with just bringing more power into humanity, because Aquarius rules humanity. Again, more power in networking and inventing new opportunities that help us individualize who we truly are. Help us individuate is the better word. Individuate who we truly are. And again, Pluto has everything to do with bringing something to light. It'll try to, on the dark side, it'll try to bury things, at first, because it's trying to hide the darkness. But as Pluto works its way through the sign of Aquarius over the next 20 years, we're going to see it all, you know. It might not be pretty, just like it wasn't in Capricorn. But the thing to remember is that this is just a beginning. So it happens today. Pluto was in Aquarius already last year. Didn't last for too long, then retrograded back to 29 degrees. That's gonna happen again. On May 2nd, Pluto will retrograde it'll make it to 2 degrees Aquarius, and then it'll go into retrogradation, and it'll take until September 1st, 2024, so September 1st this year, and it'll make it back to 29 degrees Capricorn again. And then it'll be retrograde in there from May 2nd, like I was saying, to September. And then on October 11th, it'll, and you don't have to write this down because, I mean, I'll be here to tell you again. But on October 11th, Capricorn will station direct at that 29 degrees. So we're going to go through that whole thing, you know, throughout this election cycle. And so it's not going to make it back to Aquarius until after the election to stay. You know, when Pluto makes it to Aquarius to stay, it'll be November 19th, 2024. And then it'll stay there until March 8th, 2043. Now that's what we're saying now, because that's what the ephemera says. But we all know Pluto doesn't have a circular orbit. It has an elliptical orbit. So it'll sometimes be in one sign for, you know, like just a little bit of time, and then it'll be in another sign for a whole lot more time, and then a little bit of time. You know, it all depends. So I can't say for sure that March 8th date will hold, but it'll be in 2043 somewhere in March. It might be like the 7th, or it might be the 9th, or, you know. But anyway, it won't be too far off. So just suffice to say is that we're going to have a little relief while things are in Aquarius, a little opening, okay? A little, the energy of Pluto in Capricorn and the Sun, Pluto in Aquarius, I'm sorry, and the Sun in Aquarius is inventive. Again, like, it rules humanity. It should be more friendly. It should be more altruistic. It should be more sensitive. But it could also be more, it could be people rebelling. It can be, you know, trying to reform something. And it can be just kind of cut off and detached from the heart. So that's my only real concern. So it can be argumentative because people think they know the way. But then again, like I was saying, on the dark side, they'll just withdraw and go the other way, and they won't give you the time of day. And so keeping our hearts open to everyone healing. Now, another great thing with Aquarius, though, is science, because Aquarius rules science. Uranus rules science as well. And Uranus and Taurus is, you know, bodily science. At least we had vaccines for COVID. Not everybody wants them, though. But there you go. There's that Pisces energy. And maybe some of the stubborn Taurus energy too, right? So anyway, but with Aquarian energy, it's about uniqueness. Bottom line, it's about honoring our uniqueness, honoring that we're all different, and that's beautiful. There can be some original new ideas that come through with Pluto and Aquarius. There can be the polarity of tolerance versus bigotry, and so that can be challenging. Like I was saying, there can be the intellectual pride, thinking that they're better than. Aquarius rules technology, just as Uranus does. Whenever I say Aquarius, just think Uranus and you'll get the same vibe. Then you'll know the planet and the sign, right? The dark side of Aquarius is racism. The dark side of Aquarius is being pigeonholed. The dark side of Aquarius is not treating others humanely. Okay, these are things I'm concerned with when it comes to Pluto and Aquarius. So I'm not going to say just because Pluto's in Aquarius, everything's going to be great. It's just, there's the dark and the light of every sign. But Pluto in the early degrees but it's going to take, a lot of time for Pluto to get to 10 degrees Aquarius. So, but just to know that these first, I don't know how many years, 5 years, I'll have to look and see how many years it'll take to get to 10 degrees Aquarius. But it will be in that first decan, actually the first 9 degrees, 1 degree, 0 to 9 degrees, which is 10 degrees, but 0 to 9 degrees Aquarius, we are in forming something. We're developing something new. Let's just keep our hearts open and work to make it something beautiful. And that's all that we can do individually, right? And bring the power back to how powerful you are, how powerful you can be with your individuality, with your unique, every step of the way that you open your heart and send love, and every step of the way that you give people the benefit of the doubt, every step of the way knowing that we're all here on Earth, and this is a planet of duality, so we're all working our way through dualistic splits, but for the most part, that if we can just hold fast to, we can only, while we love others, we can only control ourselves. And, unless you're a parent, then you can control your kids, and, that's a whole nother thing. I'm talking about adults with free will. We can open up to all kinds of new ideas because of the adjustment, still up to Mercury and the moon. This can be a really beautiful opening. But as things progress over the years, it's important to remember to just be careful with rebelling, but send a lot of love to those people who are thinking that they have to rebel, like that's the only way, because it's not. And again, just staying connected to your heart and knowing that love is a choice. It's not something that you can expect to just come to you without your willingness and your openness for it, and your choice for it, and then your intention to follow through with continuing to open your heart. Or if you can't open your heart, maybe it's just time for a nap, right? Maybe you just need to go inside and get some time back to yourself. And there's nothing wrong with, on the positive side of the Aquarian energy, where you can just withdraw from the world, because you're not responsible for everyone else on the planet. And we are on a planet that is an equal opportunity incarnational vehicle to incarnate over and over and over again until we heal all of our dualistic splits. Okay? So anytime we're in the either or, like, it's all, a person is all good or all bad. You're in duality. People are complex. We have the capacity for a lot of good and a lot of bad, and everything in between. And, needing to be right or wrong. Or if you're wrong, you can't be loved. Like that. Those are dualistic splits. And there's so many others. I'll keep talking about them as we go. I talk about them a lot in my daily tarot readings, but I think I'm going to close this one up because we're going to be talking about Pluto and Aquarius for some time. And the Sun in Aquarius all month. So happy birthday ahead of time to any of my Aquarian friends out there. Thank you for the space that you hold for all of us to wake up. And we love you. Okay, take good care, you guys. Bye.